You're listening to Stand Tall and Own It, the podcast for high-performing female leaders who are ready to make an impact by discovering the safety that comes from understanding their own value and exercising their own authority. I'm your host, Andrea Johnson, and I'm here to tell you it is time to just truly be you, my strong friend. It's time to stand tall and own it. Hi there, I'm Andrea Johnson, host of Stand Tall and Own It, and I'm bringing you a special little short episode that's kind of a bonus from my last conversation with my most recent guest, Courtney Elmer. And I discovered that one of the things that we learn the most from is our mistakes. So what I'm starting to do is ask many of my guests, what is your most epic fail and how did that change you, or how did you overcome that? And to find out that someone has made a huge mistake, wait till you hear hers. It's it's a little pricey, and it scares me a little bit to think about these kinds of numbers, but to know how she then turned it around and used it for something that made all the difference in who she is as a person and in her business is so very heartening. So enjoy this special little bonus episode. If you have not yet heard Courtney's interview, go back to that and find it. She touches on it a little bit in there, and she does kind of explain it a little bit better, but it's a fabulous little answer of exactly why we need to evaluate all of our experiences, because that is the best place to learn. Enjoy, and I hope you learned something. All right, Courtney, thank you so much for being here today. I have enjoyed so far our conversation. So welcome.
Thank you. I am delighted to be here, and I appreciate you having me on.
Well, one other thing I wanted to ask, just a little bonus question, because so many, and I think our messages, both of us talk to this kind of thing. And I have been really surprised at the answers I'm getting so far. But if you had to say you had one gigantic fail, like the biggest fail that turned out to be your biggest win, whether you made it happen that way or it just turned out that way, what might that be for you?
Oh, this is such a good question, because I feel like on the journey of entrepreneurship and as business leaders, there are many failures. It's hard to pick just one. But the one that immediately comes up for me is something I call my $23,000 mistake. And this was about 3-4 years ago in my business. And I was big into just investing and hiring mentors and taking courses and just absorbing as much information as I could, probably because of some deeper rooted belief there that I wasn't enough yet. I wasn't enough of an expert and so on. But, I was like, I need to have all of this knowledge before I can go out there and do the things. So I hired this mentor. She was wonderful. She had an incredible program. But as I went through the program, which was a total year in duration, by about 6 months, 7, 8 months in, I'm like, I'm just not getting out what I hoped I would get out of this program. And I was showing up, I was doing the work, I was putting everything in. And at that point, because I had given it some time, I'm like, well, let me just get my feet wet. Let me just get going, give it some time to kind of work itself out and see, does this get better from here? And by that point, I was like, this is just not what I expected it to be. And then I became really angry and really bitter and really resentful because I couldn't get my money back. I was stuck in this program for another 4 months. I wasn't learning anything that I didn't already know. And that really bothered me. It really got to me. So fast forward a few months, by the time this program had completed, I spent some time reflecting on this because I was like, I just spent all this money. I didn't really get a return that I was hoping to get. What was this teaching me? Surely if I didn't get what I wanted, there was a lesson there that I needed. And what came to me almost immediately was, you got to learn to trust yourself more. And it seems so obvious. And it seems so like, duh, of course, we got to learn to trust ourselves more, right? Especially when we're in positions of leadership. But for me, it had never, that was head knowledge, but it wasn't heart knowledge. It was something I knew between the 6 inches between my ears. Yeah. But I wasn't living it. I wasn't living that, where it was like, what does it mean to trust yourself? What does that look like? So I spent a lot of money to learn that lesson, but it's one that I'm really grateful that I learned at the time that I learned it, because it has served me so well ever since.
Love that. I mean, here's the thing about that lesson. It can take you time or money.
For me, both. Invested all this time and the money.
It is the rare person that can get to the answer at the end of that one without spending either one.
Mm.
So, it's just kind of one of those lessons to learn, and to be able to walk away from anything, good or bad, and say, what did I learn? Everybody wants to say experience is the best teacher, but we all know, just like you use the word reflecting, evaluated experience is the best teacher. And if we don't do that, we really miss out.
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
Thank you. Fabulous lesson. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.